Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. Boy, if you like watching Hollywood, Hollywoke, or any of the rest of these crazy psychopaths that have destroyed so many of our beloved industries out there lose their minds, holy cow, this week has been glorious for it. And ladies and gentlemen, the one in particular that we're going to highlight today is none other than DC's own Superman writer, Mark Waid. Yes, one of the absolute abysmally disastrous dumpster fire guys that is responsible for completely and totally destroying the idea of a true super out here who has got an idea to inspire to, someone who has strong morals and values that people can look up to, into nothing more than something that is nothing more than a representation of their own personal issues, like what we have seen so many writers in the modern era do. And this meltdown, ladies and gentlemen, is absolutely glorious because he's threatening to quit, and you'll never guess what, even after he retires, he needs his very own safe space, and it is hilarious, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to check this wonderful article over here from cosmicbook.news, getting all of the juicy details of it, showing you exactly why the state of DC Comics is currently in the place that it is because of psychopaths like this running the asylum, and also why this should give us a little cautious issues with the future of James Gunn's DC universe as well. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. Do you hope to pray to God that Mark Waid is serious and he removes himself from the comic book industry and the entire rest of the entertainment industry entirely? Or do you think this is just more nonsense kind of scapegoating? You want to get a little more attention kind of grabbing, going, oh, please, Mark, don't leave us, from all of his ridiculous sycophants out there? Well, let us know what you think about all that in the comment section down below. And also, if you'd like to support the channel, please check out the links in the description. It really does help out. So, from cosmicbook.news and our dear sweet Matt McGloin, Superman writer has epic meltdown over Trump, wants to quit. Oh, the orange man pads got you so scared because of a historically democratically elected election. Just what you always said. It's democracy in action, even though we're actually a constitutional republic, but that's an argument for another day. At the end of the day, it worked. I mean, you can't deny it. It was well over half the country, because not only did he win the Electoral College, he also won the popular vote. And that's with places like California and New York still having incredibly large populations. So, yeah, it's kind of one of them situations where you're going to see a lot of this over probably the next week. Honestly, we've already seen a lot of this over this week just entirely. But it's one of them situations where this is what's happened. Because for a long time, they truly believed, because of the echo chambers of California and Los Angeles and New York and the Beltway bubble out and all of these places, they legitimately believed that everyone else did think just like them, because they lived in the ultimate echo chambers, right? For one, you have Hollywood, where if you're a star, you're just surrounded by sycophants who are always kind of constantly kiss your ass to begin with. You know, so it's one of them situations where these are the world these people live in. And now, because they have literally found out that the majority of the country does not agree with their worldview and never will, it is literally breaking their brains. The movies didn't do it. The billions of dollars they've lost with the movies didn't do it. The absolute abysmal sales that the comic book industry now is currently in didn't do it. It took literally half the country rejecting them in the most obvious and blunt force smack to the face that they could ever possibly get to the spirit of the age. And now they're losing their minds. And it's glorious. Joining a long list of celebs and writers of Captain Marvel, now a DC Comics Marvel comic writer who's also known for writing Superman, is added to the list of those who are having epic meltdowns over Donald Trump winning the election in a landslide victory over Kamala Harris. Trump secured 292 electoral votes to Harris's 226. Trump is also on track to win the popular vote, now currently sitting with 72 million to Harris's 67 million. Yeah, don't think you're going to be able to make up that one in late night dumps, now are you? The Superman writer in question is none other than Mark Waid, who fans know from Kingdom Come, Action Comics, Absolute Power, and more. Fans also know Waid from his times at bizarre rants on social media. You know, when he likes to go out there and crap all over actual real comic book fans and nerds and geeks and tell us we're a bunch of losers and incels and yada, yada, yada. Yeah, those kind of epic rants. You talk about TDS to the nines? Yeah. Waid recently went so far as to support Trump's assassination attempts in July by yelling on social media at the shooter for missing. Fucking idiot with shitty eyesight. Oh, aren't they just the loving, tolerant people they always claim to be? Isn't it just so loving and tolerant to hear that out of these folks? Yeah, methinks that might be part of the reason why they lost so badly Tuesday. Now, following the election, Mark Waid has an epic meltdown that seems his state he wants to quit comics, sell everything, and move to California, where he'll be safe. Even if by some miracle this turns around, I don't believe in basic goodness of my fellow Americans anymore. Oh, you poor thing. Finding out that the majority of the country doesn't agree with your warped idea of the world and all of your woke nonsense. I know. It's earth-shattering for you, isn't it? It's weird that people that believe in not harming children, people believe in that not watching superheroes get absolutely destroyed and maybe ramrodded by a Kryptonian dildo up their ass. You know, the people that disagree with things like that. Yeah, Waid, I know. We're just not good folks. We're not good people. You know, it's going to be really funny. I mean, most of these psychopaths will never actually have any kind of actual legitimate awakening, right? They'll never have a coming to Jesus moment that we all pray they actually do. Because at the end of the day, these people are completely and totally brainwashed. And they will never leave the world of their brainwashed bubble because it would cause their minds to completely and totally break, which is what the election of Donald J. Trump this week made happen. And this is great. And without this, I cannot write superheroes. Mark Waid, you haven't legitimately written a good, solid superhero story that was your traditional Boy Scout kind of Superman character, or in any way that was somebody that was actually moral and upstanding. I don't think ever. And if you did, you probably only did it on a couple of storylines where you had a director going, no, you're not going to give him a dark side. You're not going to make him have an emotional meltdown. You're not going to turn him into a pussy. No, Waid. You're not going to do that. Unfortunately, when you're in charge and get to do your own thing, we see what happens. I cannot write superheroes. There's no point. When you see a decline in the quality of my work soon, you'll be able to trace it back to this night. Now, I am no comic book expert by any means out there. I am just your humble common nerd after all. But at the end of the day, exactly what kind of great champions of literary work has Mark Waid put out over the last 10 years? Or the last 20 years? For that matter, look at all of DC. Look at all of Marvel. Look at the entire mainstream legacy. And trust me, it's all legacy, because this election proved they ain't mainstream anymore and never haven't been for a long time. These legacy institutions like Marvel and DC. How's their sales going? Oh, that's right. We can reference a book from not too long ago, Transformers. A brand new iteration, a relaunch that is actually written by fans and has done a really great job of representing the Transformers as they're supposed to be. Right? Making them out to be actual heroes, you know, where Optimus Prime literally takes a laser blast practically to the chest to save a random human who he knows nothing about. And doesn't just stand back and, like, you know, what, Batman just go, well, they're getting what they deserve. Their insurance will cover it. Yeah, that's modern DC Batman. Okay? Literally sympathizing with the protesters. Okay? That's what they've been doing. That Transformers comic book outsold the entire rest of the legacy media comic book industry out there. It sold better than Batman. It sold better than Superman. It sold better than everything out there. Why? Because those people, unlike you, Mark Waid, actually understand what heroes are. But it gets better. He's not done melting down. And guess what? To once again show you the quality of work and the quality of people that are currently working over there at DC. Action Comics and penciler Pete Woods also had a meltdown and questioned, how is this happening? I'm wrecked. I used to believe in the basic goodness of people. Oh, you poor. It's almost where that basic goodness thing, I wonder if that'll be a continued talking repeat of things we'll see that obviously came and got filtered through them for the spirit of the age, and they'll all just keep repeating because we're starting to see a pattern. It's almost like all those bots we see on Twitter. It's all like they're all brainwashed with the same talking points. Waid replied and questioned how he can even continue with things. I generally don't know how to go on. I don't believe in anything I write anymore, and I probably never will. you probably never actually did to begin with, when you actually did write good things. Maybe time to sell everything I own and retire here in California, where I'll stand the best chance of being safe. Oh, yes, Mark Waid. Because apparently, based on what you've said to the public, which I can't read your mind, all I can do is go based on what you say. And generally, boys and girls, when it comes to these psychopathic, possessed by the spirit of the age cultists out there, generally listening to exactly what comes out of their stupid mouths will tell you what they believe. Because they live in a bubble where they believe this is reality. Mark Waid, a legendary DC Comics writer, a legendary comics creator out there, was held up and praised by the industry for so long, right? Now legitimately believes, has been brainwashed, has been possessed by the spirit of the age so much that he believes the dumpster fire that is California in many of its major cities right now, that dumpster fire is the only place that'll be a safe space for woke cultists like him. You're right, Wade. It probably will be a safe space for you. But it's not because Donald Trump or anybody in his administration is going to start marching people down the street to take out people that disagree with him politically. That's what your side does. Don't believe me? What was cancel culture? But literally, that doesn't come from our side. It never has. There is no historical evidence of that whatsoever. The only reason you believe that, Mark Waid, is you live so much in a bubble that the only talking heads you listen to are people like MSNBC and Joe Behar on The View. You legitimately believe that you are now going to be in danger simply because somebody else new is in the White House? You believe that your personal safety is at risk. Well, Mark Waid, one of two things are true. You're either completely and totally delusional, possessed by the spirit of the age and under demonic influence, which I honestly do believe is the more likely one, or you've got such nasty skeletons in the closet that if you ever get exposed for what you've done, you know you deserve to go to jail. Now, I'm not saying I believe that one, but what other logical conclusion for a rational mind, a common sense mind, would you have? More than likely, he's possessed by the spirit of the age and is one of the millions out there that have had an absolute glorious and beautiful meltdown, all because Donald J. Trump said he wanted to make America great again and got elected legally, properly, and clearly by the vast majority of the voting population in this country. And that, boys and girls, is a victory lap. Take heart, because you have won and people like Mark Waid have lost. And the meltdowns and the mental anguish they are currently having, all because they lost an election, is exactly what they deserve.